I was really desperate to get a job. Just do this. I'm pretty sure you will land a successful job. And it's a simple
Do you regret not being able to land in one of the big banks?
Now, not at all. Now, I'm very, very glad that it never happened. These are called feature phones. Some people call it dumb phones. These phones are being used by more than 300, 400 million people worldwide. It was just about providing first-time crypto access to these 400, 500 million people that were completely ignored by every other crypto corporation. No one ever wanted to even consider doing this. It's a completely beautiful journey. I think Tether really happened, I would say, in a very happy way. They got the app, got the product instantly. They knew what we are building. They had the vision for it, of what we were building. Stay persistent, stay consistent. Those small efforts, they will turn out to be really huge impact.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel Within the Ramp. Today I'm super delighted to invite one of my dear friends, Shishir, the managing director from Salter Wallet. How are you today, Shishir?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for inviting me to your podcast, Steph. So we're really, really happy to be here. And thank you for having me. I'm really doing good. How about you?
Well, I'm doing very well. I find that you have a very interesting background because you went to international school in India, but you speak some Thai, some Portuguese, but then you are working in Hong Kong. So, well, I feel like how come you have such a complex Asia European mix of background? And when you told me about the project that you are working on, that you are exploring the market in Africa and in India, I feel like, okay, what is this young guy doing? I'm so curious. I feel like the moment that you share with me your own project, you do have a lot of international mindset and awareness of how blockchain can unleash the opportunity in some underdeveloped countries. I think, well, there's a lot of things that you could share with us and a lot of insight that you can provide us.
Yeah, no, I would love to share everything that I can, and you're very kind. So I think, I guess just to start off, you talked about, me speaking Thai, me being coming from India, studying in Hong Kong. Most part of my life in my childhood, I've spent in Thailand. My parents have been based in Thailand for about 30, 35 years now. So I started schooling over in Thailand. I have a lot of friends, both Thai, Indian, and international in Thailand. I think it was the starting of my, international journey, if so to say. And that's where I first learned Thai as well. In school, it's like the second language over here. That was this probably the start of my international journey already very early on.
Mhm,
I first had the idea that I wanted to go abroad to study because I was in an international school. A lot of my friends were applying for Europe, US,
mhm.
all
Yeah.
to one of the top schools in the world. So I always wanted to come abroad, and that's where
Mhm.
Hong Kong came as a very good, location because it's extremely close, but also at the same time it is a very international place. It has everything that one city can offer. I've always said that I think Hong Kong is a perfect blend of everything a student can ask for. It has a great universities. It has extremely great party life as well. It has great networks if you really work for it. I think Hong Kong have opened my eyes to new horizons because I've probably in India, I was still in a small world, if I can say that. I was limited by my thinking and by my friends thinking. But coming to Hong Kong, I realized how many different people think differently and how much
Mhm.
they think and how much they work hard. And I think just being exposed or working with or being friends with Chinese people as well in Hong Kong, I was like, okay, people really, really work hard over here. I need to sort of, I need to sort of amp up
Compensate.
my,
Yeah.
I need to, whether that's studies, whether that's working for internships, whether that's doing anything else, they really, really put in the effort. And I never thought that I did enough. So I think coming to Hong Kong was a really great eye opener in terms of the effort that's needed in, professional life.
Yeah, well, I guess like your own international journey, the fact that you grew up in India, but then you went to international school and then you went to the university in Hong Kong is already kind of paved the way for working in crypto because like a lot of people in the space they're nomadic, and I think it's not a coincidence that you have to have certain international mindset, that you are not afraid to work in a multicultural environment, either internally or externally with the projects, that you will have certain visions to being in the industry. Like and one thing that I really feel fascinated about is when you graduated in University of Hong Kong, I knew that you achieved very well in your GPA, but I think you also struggle a bit to find your first role after you graduated. But I heard that you have a brilliant way to land your first role in crypto. Could you share with us how did you achieve that, and what were the struggle that you faced?
Definitely. I think just to start off this question, you said that I had a very great GPI. I'm not sure if my parents will agree with that, but I don't know, I think in high school I was always a very studious kid. I always used to be among one of the toppers in my school at least. But when I came to Hong Kong, I think I wouldn't say I was anywhere close to the top grades at all, but I used to do okay. And I think my first semester I completely made a mess of my GPA, and then I was like, okay, maybe I need to take it a little more seriously. So that's funny that you brought that up. In terms of getting my first role and even finding internships before that, I think I had always been inspired by my friends, as I said. All of my friends used to try and find internships right from the first semester, from the first year they joined college. And coming from India, a lot of my friends were in the engineering or the tech background, and I think
Mm-hmm.
only a very few of us were in the business space. So I think these people, these tech people had always been, finding jobs more easily. They had a lot of internships. Whenever you're graduating in third year is one of the most important internships that one does. So these tech people all had internships from like JP Morgan. They had Goldman and Credit Suisse and everything, the big banks, that they were all working with big banks and already had secured jobs at
Return
these
offer.
big banks,
Yeah.
return offer at these big banks. So it was always, difficult to sort of compete or even, work with with these people, because I was always thinking that, oh, maybe I'm doing something wrong, or maybe I'm, not doing enough or something like that. I was really, really desperate to get a job. And I still remember that I was not a bad student, but I think my GPA was not really great enough to probably join the big banks initially. And I didn't really get any internships at these big banks either. So
Mm-hmm.
even though I had a lot of experience in internships with finance, with wealth management, with the forex firms and everything, I never really worked with any crypto firm before that either.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I was looking for my jobs, I was very clear that I want to work in either finance or crypto, because I think that was where my interest lied.
Mm-hmm.
I think the thing that you were mentioning of how I, used to try and look for jobs was it is a very interesting and a very easy hack. Also, I always, whenever I tell anyone today that, if you're looking for a job, just do this. I'm pretty sure, in a short while you will land a successful interview or you will land a successful job. And it's a simple hack. What I used to do is that back in the day, LinkedIn used to give you 100 credits each week, where you can send out connection requests to 100 people, whether that's, you can send it to anyone you want. So I
Mm-hmm.
simply used to go to the search bar in LinkedIn. I used to filter out by people, and I used to search whether it's finance, whether it's crypto, and I would just find hiring managers or chief level executives and just keep texting them 100
Mm-hmm.
people each week without fail. I did that for at least about 4 weeks, and I wouldn't say that it's an extremely foolproof technique, but I can definitely assure you that anyone who tries this will definitely get at least a 5 to 10% hit ratio, where they'll first at least get some replies back from people. When they get replies back, you'll have to just influence them into getting on a call with you. Once they get on a call with you or a meeting with you, that then it's your game. You just need to explain to them why you are special, candidate, or why you're a good candidate, or why you can be of this help or that help. So I think it's just about putting in that effort of contacting 100 people. And I can really tell you, even out of those people that I've talked to, let's say if I talk to 20 people out of 100 people I contacted, maybe it's like, I don't know, 15 people still rejected me. So it's all a part of, part and parcel of going through that job cycle and that application cycle. So it's just a very simple hack, but many people just try and ignore it because they don't think it will ever work. But
Mm-hmm.
that's how I've really got my first job eventually, where Stephen, my manager, and so he's from Ireland, and I just randomly, like I said, I texted him on LinkedIn, and and I didn't really even say much in messages like these, right? I just used to say, "Hi, I'm Shishir, just graduating from HKU in this and this degree. Do you want to have a call with me? Do you want to meet me? And I'd like a job in these fields." And I just used to write like marketing, I
Mm-hmm.
used to write management, I used to write operations. Stephen was one of the few people that agreed to meet me. And I remember I went over to his office in TST at that time. Luckily, we had a great connection right off the instant because he's Irish and I
Mm-hmm.
have had a few months of exchange semester in
In
Ireland.
Ireland. Yeah.
It was a very happy coincidence, but yeah, that's basically how I got my first job, I would say, because we hit it off. He asked me a few questions about my experience, about what I can do, and he explained to me what his company does. On that day itself, he took me to the office. He met me, introduced me to the team, and I think within the next 2 weeks, I was already working with them. So
Yeah.
it was very, very quick and also very exciting times for me because I was obviously desperately looking for a job at that time. But
Mm-hmm.
the job that I eventually landed, I will never say that I had any issues with that. Then I'm still working with him, so
Yeah.
I've always loved Stephen and working with him. So I think this one little hack of just messaging 100 people in LinkedIn really does wonders. So if anyone who is listening to this podcast wants to, look for a job, and it's not just for a job only, you can do this for sales techniques. I've done this for other stuff, during my job for fundraising stuff as well. So like this
Mm-hmm.
is a foolproof technique to just go try and contact people. I'm sure you'll, get some success out of this. So this
Yeah.
is what I really did.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I really love this story. But looking back, do you regret not being able to land in one of the big banks?
Now, not at all. I would say I'm very happy, extremely, extremely happy. In fact, I'm happy that I didn't land the big jobs or the big banks because then I wouldn't be, desperate enough or I wouldn't be, encouraged enough to go to talk to these 100 people every week or meet Stephen eventually because I think I have not only loved my time in crypto, but I've always loved working with Source, the company that I'm work Source, Sorted Wallet, the company that I'm working with. So the people are great and the things that I've been able to learn and do, I don't think I would have ever been be able to do that in a big bank because they are very structured, they are
Mm-hmm.
very, they have people for each kind of individual roles. So even though maybe at back 3 4 years I would have been a bit sad or I would have been a bit regretting that I didn't get those jobs, but I never regret that even one bit today because
Mm-hmm.
the stuff that I've been doing, the stuff that I've been learning, the responsibilities you get in a smaller company or in a startup, so to say, is
Mm-hmm.
completely different from what you get in a big
In a
corporation.
corporate.
So
Yeah.
so I'm extremely, extremely happy that that didn't work out. And I guess that it's how things work because initially I really wanted that, but now I'm very, very glad that it never happened. So
Yeah.
I'm extremely thankful to God or
Yeah.
whatever. It worked out extremely well for me.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, but apparently you were pretty clear that you either wanted to work in TradFi or crypto, but does that mean that when you were studying in university, you already started to invest in some of the project, or what was the project that really inspired you that, or maybe working in Web3 is one of the options that I could have?
Yeah, so uh, right from the start of my like professional career, I would say I was pretty clear that I want to work something in finance or crypto. I think I've always been more interested in this space. And also, I think, I've always looked at my father, for example. He has been, working in his own company for 30 plus years now. And I've always seen him do great work. He does all the finances, all, management, all accounting, everything he does on his own. So I've always loved that part of him. And I think when I used to sort of try and go to the office early on in my, just the building age of my professional career, I think I would try and help him with a little bit of Excel stuff or just some finance stuff or some accounting stuff. So I think that was had always played in my mind that, this is something that I can do and this is something I already know. And then
Hmm.
even when I joined college, initially I did internships in FX. I did internships with a few financial startups as well. I did internships with other companies that were always related to finance in one way or the other. So I think it was very clear that this is where my interests lie. And I think when I joined, like when I started learning about crypto as well, I think this was back in the lockdown days when COVID used to rule. So that's when I first got introduced. This is back in 2020. So this is the first time I got introduced to crypto as a concept. I never really paid any attention to it.
Yeah.
That's the time. That's when I at first had the time to, maybe just learn something new. As so, that's when I started reading about crypto. And I think very soon enough, I also started investing whatever little money I used to save up from whatever my dad used to give me as a pocket
Yeah.
money, or
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
what something I could get from my internships, right? So I used to just save up a little bit of money each month and try and invest in crypto.
Hmm.
So I think that's when I started getting more interested, started to learn more about each project. I started to learn about so many projects. And then when I started getting into this space of crypto, I realized that Hong Kong is completely filled with crypto startups and people that are working in this space. So I was very surprised to know, like, for example, Animoca that became huge today, right? They're from Hong Kong, and
Yeah. They
like
were a
so
gaming
many.
company.
Exactly. And I was like, there are so many great projects being built out in Hong Kong. It would
Hmm.
just make sense for me to, message these people, especially when crypto was booming. So, I was like, okay, these people are making money. They definitely need to expand. And, there's no better way to just try my luck, send out the messages to these people. I was obviously interested in, this space. I was investing myself. I was learning about and reading about this every day. So it was a no-brainer to try apply it and talk to these crypto companies. And I think even when I was applying to these companies, I got rejected at least by 5 to 10 companies. I still remember that the first interview I had about the first crypto company I talked to, they asked me so many technical questions about blockchain, about this, about that, and I had no answers to any of them. But I think
Yeah.
because I failed those interviews, I was able to go back and learn and learn and learn. And
Hmm.
that's why probably eventually when I started working, I was not completely new to crypto. I had a lot of personal experience, whether that's investing or professional. I knew a
Hmm.
lot more concepts than anyone knew that joined crypto today. So I
Yeah.
think that really helped me get head started into this job as well. So I think that
Uh-huh.
was very helpful.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. And I bet because apparently you have quite a bit of success in your current project, but when you look back, there is a lot of mistake that you've made and you get a lot of rejection. But then every time you're trying to overcome those barriers and now like your project got funding. Well, could you walk us through like throughout the past few years, what were you trying to build in Sorted Wallet? And what were your
Of
role?
course, I think Sorted Wallet, when I first joined the company, I joined Source with Stephen and Brian. Source is basically like a financial services conglomerate where they basically provide different kinds of Web3 services to whether that's individuals, whether that's corporates, whether that's someone else. We've got many different kinds of Web3 services. So within that company, there was this idea of creating a company called Sorted Wallet, or working on an idea, not even a company at that time, working on an idea called Sorted Wallet. This was completely Stephen's idea. He had this inspiration. He's a very enthusiastic and a very energetic learner, if I may say that. He always used to learn about new technologies, new things that are happening in the world. And Stephen just randomly came across this thing called KaiOS, KAIOS. So it's the third largest mobile OS in the world. And it powers phones like
Yeah,
these
short of the
actually. So
phone.
yeah, so it powers feature phones like these. So these are called feature phones. Some people call it dumb phones. You can call it old phones, press button phones. 10 different names for it. But
It's the I would call it
Kyle,
the phones that I used to play the snake.
the snake. The first time we met, Steph had a really good time playing Snake on these phones.
Yes.
No, so Solid Wallet really came up along as an idea back in 2020, late 2020, early 2021, where Stephen was like, you know, crypto is only about degens, is only about token, is only about NFT. I mean, we were also doing a lot of that stuff at that time. Like it was extremely sort of new from Stephen that he sort of learned about these phones. He learned about this KaiOS company that has been possibly become the third largest mobile OS in the world, even though they owned like about 1 to 2% of market share, but they were still the next best after iOS and Android. He just started doing some research and he found out that they are based in Hong Kong. They're headquartered in Hong Kong. And like I said that it's just worth trying to reach out to these people.
It's
You know,
amazing
we
story.
we just randomly set up a meeting without any agenda, without any thought process. We just went to their team in Hong Kong randomly over coffee. We were just talking. We were telling us what we do. They were telling us what they do, and somehow it just came across that it's middle of 2021 where everyone is going haywire about crypto. Crypto is on an extreme bull run, and they don't have a crypto app in their app store.
Yeah.
And we were pretty much shell shocked. And Stephen just had this sort of light bulb moment where, you know, let's build a crypto app for these people or these apps. Honestly, I won't say that I was completely on board with the idea right away because if you think about it, you are building a crypto wallet for people that can't even afford basic financial services
Yeah.
and can't even really, probably can't even afford day-to-day expenses of their lives.
Hmm.
So it's sort of an ironic app to be honest, but now that it's been 2 3 years since then, it completely makes sense that this app should exist and should have existed a long time back.
Hmm.
But no one really ever thought about it because, as I said, crypto has always been about degens. It's always been about tokens, about NFTs. It's always been for people that are the mass market that people call nowadays. No one really cares about building for these niche people that probably just use this app. Not for buying a bitcoin, for example. Definitely no one is buying a bitcoin through our app. So it was just about providing the first time access to I was surprised when I got to know that these phones are being used by more than 300 400 million people worldwide.
Yeah.
So it was just about providing first time crypto access to these 400 500 million people that were completely ignored by every other crypto corporation because no one ever wanted to even consider doing this as an idea. And
Yeah.
I can completely tell you that when we used to pitch these ideas or talk to people about this idea back in 2021 2022 when we were trying to fundraise initially or even just get to know about people what they think about the project.
Or have a
Everyone used
conversation.
Exactly. Everyone used to laugh at this idea. Everyone was like, why are you doing this? There's no use. No one will ever use it. This
Yeah.
is just completely, I wouldn't say
Because
if
it was
anyone
a
said
very
bull.
booming time that everyone can just make like
Exactly.
100x for the old coins.
Exactly. Like you could just launch another gaming app and then that token will just bump up in 200x and make your money and just go away. But I think our agenda was very clear. I think we had a very long, I think we discussed this idea for over months before completely getting into it. But then one day we just took a decision as a team that we are doing this, let's go for it.
Hmm.
And we just started building the app, honestly. And I wouldn't say that it was easy at all because, first of all, building an app for this phone is like 100 times different or more difficult than building an app for iOS, Android, or any other web
Yeah.
app, because these phones are extremely difficult to deal with. And
And there's no developers would already know how to build on this OS.
exactly, that's the main reason why they're difficult, because there's no documentation. There's no, you can't just go to Reddit or Google that, oh, I have this problem, can you solve it? So,
Nothing
so it
open
was
source.
exactly, exactly. So it took us a lot of time, lot of time when I say that, we built, it took us at least 1 year to build the first version of our app. And even that was so bad that within 6 months we had to completely redo our app and rebuild our app from scratch.
Hmm.
But I think it is part and parcel of what has taken us or took us to where we are right now, because we had like probably throughout the last 2 years, we faced so many we talked to so many funds, we talked to so many people, so many investors, and few of them would always be interested. Every time I used to show this phone to someone, they would be like, "Oh, so interesting. We're doing a crypto app. Oh, okay, it's fine. Maybe we don't really care about it so much." Or
Yeah.
even if they would show interest, no one would ever put in money where their mouth was. Like, they would say that, okay, this is really important, you should do it. And then we were like, okay, do you want to support us? You want to come along the journey? And no one would ever really get it enough to put it put in the money as well. But which is fine. I mean, I'm not saying that you need to just put in money anywhere, but it's just that it showed that no one really cared about these people or these markets or even believed in the idea enough. But I think for 2 years we just went on. Slowly it was in the starting, it was just me and Stephen that were working on this project, to be honest. I think for at least about 1 year, it was just us and the developing team the developing team, it was outsourced. We, hired a tech team in Hong Kong
Hmm.
who did, uh, I would say, a terrible job today. That
Yeah.
app was completely buggy. It used to crash and everything. But it was just the two of us who used to do the testing, who used to talk to the iOS company, who used to try and get on a call with these users, actual users. We used to try and find out these people if they
Yeah.
exist anywhere, and if they
Yeah.
also have a Telegram or any kind of social media where you can talk to them.
Yeah, they're not active on internet, right? But by the
Well,
way, apart from Africa, I guess like most of the populated users will be in Africa. Apart from that, what are the countries or regions that you guys are serving?
so the app is actually global all across the world except USA. But in terms of our users, the main users come from, of course, Africa, but also our secondary markets or our other major markets are, South Asia. So,
Mm.
India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, even with Vietnam and Philippines also have a lot of people that use these, but we have not got enough users from there yet. But I think Pakistan is one of our top 5 markets, for example. So it just goes to show how many people use these kinds of phones and how many people do need crypto access as well. Like, we were really surprised. I think even when we first launched the app, this is back in 2023, March, so like almost 1.5 years back from now, when we first launched the app, we didn't know what to expect. Like, we could have completely, there would have been no downloads and we would have been okay with it. Like, we didn't know that whether we need to expect 10 downloads a day, 100
Yeah.
downloads a day, or 1,000 downloads a day.
Yeah.
But, we had this little Slack notification wherever a app was downloaded, we used to get a notification.
You get a
And we were
notification. Yeah.
surprised to see that we were getting downloads, and we were just like, okay, this is a idea that worked, and this is an idea that probably could turn into something else. And we were just happy that people started downloading it. Probably we were not even sure if they were using it eventually or not, but we were like, okay, they're downloading it, we are happy, we are glad that something we made is being downloaded by people. So
Yeah.
so I think the roles really changed in a way where it went from me and Stephen, managing everything, whether that was testing, whether that was talking to the developers, whether that was talking to iOS, getting the app live, getting the app updates out, getting the app published, everything. It went from me and Stephen to slowly, as we, realize that this is a good idea, this is a thing that people can probably get behind. We started, uh, building our team just like that. We had an
Yeah.
intern slowly after very I think late 23. Our the co-founder joined Jure from he's from Slovenia. He's the chief product officer of our of
Of
Sorted
this
Wallet today.
product.
So he joined in the late half of 2023, and I think that's when we sort of redid the app and completely decided to do a revamp of what we were doing, because even though we were on the right track, we just needed to restart, so to say. So, we did
Hmm.
a rebrand, we did a complete redo of the app, we hired a new tech team.
Yeah.
So we just got a lot more organized after that, I would say, and started being more committed to the project. I think even until that point, we were still working on different projects or trying to get other work done at the same time, because obviously this was not monetized. This was not
Yeah.
supported by any big funds as well.
Yeah.
So
I didn't want to
this
put
was
all the energies
eggs
in
in
one
one basket.
bucket. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly,
Understand.
exactly. And this is all also like even until mid 2024, this is all supported by Stephen and Brian. So like the Source company was who's the parent company of Sorted Wallet, completely funding it until mid 2024, where we first raised our pre-seed round. So
Hmm.
it's an extremely beautiful journey. I always talk with Stephen that we needed that 1 year 2 years of sort of slow growth to really realize what is happening today, because when you start growing suddenly it's like, okay, this is always going to work, but to face that
Hmm.
hardships, to face those challenges, to see the apps crashing, the apps bad, apps buggy,
Yeah.
and to get to the point where we are today, it is a whole journey, and it's a completely beautiful journey, because it just shows you that the efforts we put in at that time are now being translated into the
Working.
good
Yeah.
work. So it's like if we hadn't put in those small efforts back in 2 years back, we would probably have gotten our first funding from
Hmm.
Tether. We
Yeah.
wouldn't have been able to expand our team or even get to app to a point where we can say, okay, this is something we can do full time, this is something that has merit or anything. So I think we
Yeah.
needed those challenges and those hardships to really get to where we are right now.
Yeah, yeah. So, like, apparently you guys got the funding from Tether, and what was the arrangement? It's already been announced publicly, but do you want to share with us a little bit more about the arrangement with and the partnership with Tether?
Definitely. I think Tether really happened, I would say, in a very happy way. I would say, like, they got the app, got the product instantly. I think they knew what we are building, they had the vision for it, of what we were building. And I think even for this, I always go back to Stephen and his inspiration for this project. Like, he was always the one who was pushing us to work on this project, to work on this project, to go for this project. But even how we got Tether is through Stephen, like one of his old colleagues who he was just randomly connected with on LinkedIn. He
Yeah,
found us posting about Sorted Wallet on LinkedIn, and he was now working with Tether. So he he reached out to us initially, where he was like, okay, you're doing a great job with Sorted Wallet. This is what Tether also wanted. They wanted access to new people who wanted to join crypto, or who are entering crypto. They
hmm,
wanted to expand their stablecoin access and stablecoin adoption to other markets that had no other way for them to do it other than us. So I think they instantly got what we were doing. They were committed to the vision as well. And I think it took us some time during the due diligence process, but it was never a question of whether the deal would go through or not. I think if I'm being I don't know if this has ever been said publicly, but we first started talking to them in April, May, early this year. So
yeah.
that's almost 8 months now.
8 months. Yeah.
And then the deal was eventually announced in August.
Hmm.
So it took us at least 4 to 5 months to finalize and sign the deal, but they instantly had the vision for it. They understood that this is something that is needed. They realized that there are, 500 million people out there who need crypto access, and they were very happy to support us because, of course, they also wanted to increase the adoption of their own stable coins. So we were doing a great job at that. Yeah, at that time, we were already having about 60, 70,000 downloads, at least,
60, 70,000.
yes, we had
Well,
at
that's a
least
lot.
70,000 downloads.
Yeah.
So, they realized that there is a lot of good potential in this project. the deal we had with them is, it's a completely equity based deal. So they have invested 1.5 million in our pre-seed round.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's one of the best partners that we could have ever asked for because they are not only financial investors for us, they are really partners, so to say, because they get the idea and they are helping us in every part of the way to get into new markets, get into newer products also, in the sense that adding new features, talking to new partners, how can we improve the app. So they've really been helpful in a way as like a strategic investor, and not only as a financial investor.
Mm-hmm.
So it has been a great last few months with them, where we have met them a few times. We recently, all of my team was in Switzerland for Lugano's Plan B event. So that's the event where they unleashed the Satoshi statue. So I don't know if
Yeah.
you saw that on Twitter.
No, not
So
yet.
they disclosed a very cool. It's a very cool statue. They disclosed a Satoshi statue. So my whole team was there. It is a event only for Bitcoin, or particularly for Bitcoin, organized by Tether each year in
Mm-hmm.
Switzerland. So we have met them. They completely get the idea. They are really, really committed to helping us as well. So the strategic investors, they have been really, really helpful in us finding new partners, us finding new avenues of entering new markets as well. So they have
Mm-hmm.
been really, really helpful, and we are really excited about the things that will follow, because we have a lot of great things coming up.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful journey that you've shared. And well, after this announcement of the strategic partnership, are there any upcoming updates that you guys are planning? Like, what is the next step after this great news?
So I think we have actually a lot of great stuff. So I'm trying to be picky in what I say to you. But on top of my mind, I can definitely say this to you, that we started off building for these feature phones, but now we are already almost in the later stages of building our first app for Android, lower powered Android devices. So the older Android devices
Mm-hmm.
that are still used by another 400 million people, 500 million people, or even more. That's something that's coming up very soon. We are launching our Android app within the next 2-3 months, hopefully. So that's one big announcement I can definitely make out there. But at the same time, there's a lot of different features coming up soon as well, because we are extremely focused on building for the niche market that we are focused on, for
Mm-hmm.
first-time crypto users, unbanked, underbanked individuals in Africa, in emerging markets like India, Pakistan, and other parts of Africa, right? So we don't want to be distracted into building for the mass market suddenly. So we are still focused on these people. We are building off-ramp solutions. For
Mm-hmm.
example, these people, as I said, these are our users are most likely unbanked and underbanked, right? So they don't have access to any basic financial services. So we've been building a way for them to off-ramp crypto, off-ramp USDT
Mm-hmm.
into their mobile money. So this
Mm-hmm.
is a form of financial payment widely used in Africa, where people use their mobile data or mobile airtime as a form
Mm-hmm.
of currency almost. So
Yeah.
we have been working on a solution that will allow people to convert USDT into mobile airtime,
Mm.
instantly get instantly get to convert crypto into their local currency, basically. So this is something that we are very excited about, because this is a big feature for us as well, in terms of we have always said that this app is great for people that have families living abroad and they've sent remittance back home. So
Mm.
once we have this feature live, should be very soon again, is this will really help our users to increase the utility of our app, in terms of if they can convert USDT into their local currency instantly, then there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing better than that for them, because they anyway don't have any access to bank accounts. So they can't do this, with traditional financial services. So when we will provide them this first time access, this will be a huge, solution for them, that they can not only use almost every day, but at the same time, it will be a huge achievement for us, because from us going from a buggy or a crashy app to getting to a point where we can almost offer remittance services to our users, it's going to be a huge journey for us. So that's something else we're really excited about. I think
Mm-hmm.
in something smaller, we are launching an ebook on stablecoin on feature phones and
Mm-hmm. Ebook.
lower powered. Yeah, we are launching.
Yeah.
This is in collaboration with Tether actually. So, I think we already have like, I mean, the team already has the first few drafts ready. So we're
Mm-hmm.
just waiting on, of last few changes. So I think sometime in November we will launch an ebook. So I think that's more of a smaller announcement I can make there as well that
Yeah.
we have a very nice ebook on the reason that this ebook is on the impact of these feature phones and low powered smartphones. So, the reason we did this ebook is because when we were doing research on these phones, on the market that these phones have, we never found anything on the internet. There was very few resources, very few
Mm,
documentation, very few numbers or statistics on these phones. So that's why we thought that, since we are in this market, since we are building for this market, we should do something for the community as well. So
yeah,
this
to
is
know
just like
more
a
about them.
Exactly. So if ever, someone comes along the way, let's say in 6 months' time, and they want to build some other app for feature phones or low-powered smartphones, they can just instantly look up our ebook and find some very, very useful resources. Like I think the team has done a great job behind it, so we are
Mm-hmm.
very happy about that as well. And Tether got tagged along. They're collaborating with us on that ebook, so we are very happy about
Mm-hmm.
that as well. So, like I said, Tether has been a strategic investor with us, so they're really working hard with us to make our vision come into a reality.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think these are the few major announcements I can definitely make.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess state. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I know that you're already trying to like disclose a lot about the exciting plan, and I wish you all the success. And I'm so glad that someone will build for, like you said, the niche market where there's a lot of not a lot of information about this market. And yeah, and I think these product will be very helpful for the local community, for some people who are really in need for like underdeveloped countries and for people that who don't have access for banks.
100%. I think it's so, like I've been saying this throughout the conversation that crypto has always been for the degens, for the token, for the mass market. When we started building this project, we were clear in our minds that this is not a money making machine. This is not something that we want to make quick money out of. This is something that we were really invested in. I'm coming from India, a very major emerging market, right? I know that how people in India operate in terms of finance. I know how people have just recently started using different kinds of, whether that's Web2 wallets or Web3 wallets. They've just been getting used to digital wallets. So I know how people in emerging markets operate. So I've always been very committed to this project right from the start. And we have always been clear in our mindset that this is something that we want to do for as a way of, contributing and empowering other communities in these emerging markets. It's never been about let's create a app and then let's create a token and just let's rip off their money. It's never been about that. We don't even have a token, for example, which is very rare nowadays for a crypto company.
Hmm.
So we have been very clear in our mindset that we want to build a project where we can empower and educate people about crypto. I think this is a big part of our mission, that we want to empower people with first time crypto access and at the same time educate people about the benefits of crypto, about why they should be using or why they can be using these services. So I think it's always been about how we can better provide to the community than take from the community. So
Hmm.
I think everyone in the team shares that same vision and same commitment. So that's why we are probably a very small team, but a very team that's strongly knit and that's been working well together.
Well, before we wrap up, could you share with us one of the biggest things that you have ever learned in this journey?
I think it's just there's so many things that come to mind, but
I know one thing.
if I were to give one message out, it would definitely be to stay persistent or stay consistent. Those small efforts, even though they look small to you today, maybe 1 year, 2 years down the line, they will turn out to be really, really huge impact because that's what happened with us. We started this off as a side project where we were maybe not as committed to it as we are today. And then making that those small contribution, making those small efforts every day for 2 years has now turned this company into a complete mission, complete vision where we are like, Tether has been involved. We are excited about, going into Android and everything. So this is all about small, consistent efforts, that you put in daily. I think even when we were fundraising, right, I would be lying if I said that it was easy for us because for 2 years we tried to explain our vision and our mission to many, many, many funds, but no one really understood it. And even if they did, they didn't really want to join our journey. So I think just because we were consistent, just because we kept believing in our vision, we were able to put that across to Tether as well. So I think if anyone's that listening this, just stay consistent. I don't know how, if you are a student, if you are a corporate, if you are a professional, just if you believe in something, just stay consistent towards it, and I'm pretty sure that it will bring great, great, great returns to you in the end. So I think that's my one message.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your story.
Thank you so much. We are very happy and we are very hopeful of what's to come next. So I would definitely say stay tuned to Sorted Wallet as well. And we have great stuff coming up. And definitely stay subscribed to this Within the Realm channel because they've been releasing really, really great conversations. I've heard a few, so I know they are great learning opportunities for any, whether that's a new student or a upcoming professional. Definitely subscribe to the channel as
I
well.
hope you enjoyed the video, as we will be interviewing with interesting leaders across the Web3 space on a weekly basis. Be sure to stay tuned to us. If you find our content interesting, be sure to subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already. Hit the like button, hit the bell notification, and see you in the next one.